Does it seem like a certain someone is constantly on your mind? Maybe you cannot stop thinking about him, and it's driving you crazy. If you're looking for answers about what it means when someone is heavily on your mind or what you can do about it, I feel you. Hello, lovely souls. Welcome back to Psyched Up. Today, we're going to explore the reasons why someone might occupy your mind so intensely. Before we dive into today's content, I want to remind you to show your support by hitting the like button, subscribing, and sharing this video. Your engagement truly means the world to me and helps me continue creating valuable content. Thank you for being a part of our community. As a self-proclaimed overthinker, I am prone to compulsive thoughts, and nothing triggers this in me quite like love and romance. Whether I like it or not, I can easily find myself lost in a maze of thinking about someone, sometimes so much so that I can't sleep, eat, or concentrate on other things. But after years of trying to keep my mind in check, I've also done a lot of research to understand some of the causes and triggers of this. And more importantly, I've also found some really useful tools to take charge of my thoughts rather than be at the mercy of them. In this video, I'll cover potential reasons why someone keeps coming to mind, and in the next video, how you can stop thinking about them. So subscribe not to miss it. When someone is always on your mind, what does it mean? 1. They create a strong emotional response in you. Maybe it's love, a crush, or infatuation. Or maybe it's the opposite end of the spectrum, and you are feeling hurt, anger, and sadness toward someone. One thing is for sure. We human beings are instinctively emotionally driven creatures. Our thoughts and feelings are closely linked. Anything that generates a strong emotional trigger in you is likely to occupy your thinking. The same also goes for the other way around too. The more you think about something, the more it is going to impact the way you feel about it too. The thing is, we don't spend much time pondering things we don't really care about. That means there's a good chance this person is on your mind because you do care about them in some way, shape, or form. 2. You're attracted to them. Biology is powerful. It knows what it's doing, and it's prepared to pump a powerful cocktail of hormones into you to make it happen. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. This idea of being lovesick is a familiar notion to us, but it's perhaps less about love and more about the chemical reactions happening in your body when you're feeling attraction. I know, that doesn't sound quite as romantic. Butterflies in the stomach, sweaty palms, and constantly thinking about someone are common side effects of the release of brain chemicals like dopamine, oxytocin, adrenaline, and vasopressin. A strong attraction to someone is going to mean that they are on your mind. Blame Mother Nature. 3. Your brain is trying to problem solve. There's a difference between rumination and mental problem solving, but sometimes the two can look quite similar. Often we need to think things through so that we can process how we feel and figure things out. Whenever something happens, it's natural for the brain to try and understand what is going on. If he didn't text you when you thought he would, he suddenly went cold. He is giving you some mixed signals, or 1,000,001 potential things. Your mind might slip into overthinking. The difficulty is, when you can't come to a conclusion or get an answer, repetitive thoughts start to occur. Your brain cannot crack the code or find a solution, so it just goes around and around in an endless loop. It's no wonder all that mental energy spent is exhausting and can create anxiety. This is what we'd call rumination, and falls more into the category of dwelling on things that we cannot change or control. 4. A gifted advisor confirms the meaning behind it. Figuring out the reasons why you're constantly thinking of someone can be very frustrating at the least. But have you ever thought of seeking help from a gifted psychic? Okay, I know what you're thinking. Are psychics for real? Can you really trust them to give helpful advice about love and life? Here's the deal. I've never been into psychics until I recently spoke to someone from Psychic Source. I was blown away by how kind, compassionate, and knowledgeable they were. You see, they made me understand two things: how I connect with others, and more importantly, how I connect with myself. They gave me clarity on some of my most confusing questions like, why do I keep thinking about a specific person out of the blue? Or, if he is on my mind, am I on his? But I'll be honest with you. I don't know that I'll trust everyone that says they're a psychic, but if I had an opportunity to go to Psychic Source again and again, I will. That's because I'm convinced that they can guide me, and I'd recommend that you try it out. See for yourself how a love reading can be a very healing and enlightening one. I can't wait for you to unlock all the possibilities that love holds for you. And the best part, you'll feel a connection to yourself that you haven't felt before. 5. You're romanticizing. Do perfect rom-com style scenarios play out in your brain? Can you picture him down on one knee, or envisage you two kissing in the rain? Do you find yourself drifting off into visualizations about your future life together? The dog you'll buy, the home you'll live in, and the trips you'll take together. Sounds like you could have a common case of overly romanticizing this person. Of course, you might be in love, and at a stage in your relationship where this isn't just a fairy tale. But this also commonly happens during the beginning of, or even before, a romance too. Nothing has been tainted yet with the stark light of reality, so we're tempted to drift off into the soft glow of fantasy when we think about them. It's natural, and most of us project onto a potential or new partner in some way or another. We're all guilty of wearing rose-tinted glasses occasionally, but it becomes more problematic whenever it's taking over, or when it leads to unrealistic expectations further down the line. Life has a way of not quite living up to the power of your imagination. 6. You're escaping. Distraction is addictive. Anyone who has ever found themselves endlessly scrolling their social media feed when they really should be focusing on their tax return will tell you that. The brain is hardwired to avoid discomfort and seek pleasure. When we are rewarded with a good feeling by any type of behavior, we start to form what's known as a compulsion loop. We repeat the behavior so we can be rewarded with another little neurochemical hit of dopamine. So if thinking of someone creates a good feeling, it's easy to see how we want to keep repeating that, especially when the alternative is something somewhat more mundane. It's a similar situation with daydreaming. As many as 96% of adults will engage in at least one episode of daydreaming a day. Daydreaming can be characterized as thinking for pleasure. And even though daydreaming may have been given a bad rap over the years, recent research has found it does bring health benefits, including increased well-being or improved pain tolerance. Of course, this works on the assumption that thinking or daydreaming about someone is bringing you pleasure. But what if it doesn't? There are occasions when we wish we could get somebody out of our heads, but we can't seem to stop thinking about them. The next part of this video will talk about that. 7. You recognize them. Want to know for certain what it means when someone keeps coming to mind? Could it be that they're the one, and that's why you can't stop thinking about them? Let's face it, we can waste a lot of time and energy with people who ultimately we're not compatible with. Finding your soulmate isn't exactly easy, but what if there was a way to remove all the guesswork? I've just stumbled upon a way to do this. A professional psychic artist who can draw a sketch of what your soulmate looks like. Even though I was a bit skeptical at first, my friend convinced me to try it out a few weeks ago. Now I know exactly what he looks like. The crazy thing is that I recognized him right away. Thank you for joining us on this introspective journey today. Remember, your feelings are valid, and understanding them is a powerful step toward self-discovery. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And for more thought-provoking content, hit that notification bell so you never miss an update.